Voices from the Mausoleum is brought to you by the You Run Podcast Network and yourunpodcast.com.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Voices from the Mausoleum, and welcome to Found Footage Fridays. Going to be another short review today. If you're not keeping up on socials, there is a brand new streaming service called Found. They're on Twitter as Found on Social. It is a streaming service completely dedicated to horror found footage movies. And so I made the really dumb decision to decide to do 31 days of found footage movies because they have a bunch of stuff I haven't seen. And some of them Steve and I will probably be covering at least at some point throughout the rest of the month. But the one I wanted to talk about today was one that kind of took me by surprise, and I just watched it yesterday. And it's the 2021 found footage movie, The Wild Man. That's right. Bigfoot found footage. I have very strong opinions on Bigfoot found footage for anyone new to this series. I am a huge fan of Exist. I did not like Tahoe Joe, and I did not like, what's the other one everybody likes? Willow Creek? No thanks. Hard pass. Very boring. So this one is about an hour 40. It's essentially a story about, it's done as a mockumentary style, which also checks a big box for me. But it's essentially about this group of 3 people who are looking into some disappearances of different of women in a specific area in this small town. And so there's all these rumors about it could be a serial killer, it could be the wild man, the skunk ape, Bigfoot, blah blah blah, because it takes place in Florida. And so they meet this skunk ape tracker who takes them out into the woods and essentially ends up being this much bigger story overall. Pros, it's another Bigfoot found footage movie, which is fun. I think that the Bigfoot suit is not a 10 out of 10 by any means, but they're very careful with how often you see it and how much lighting is on it. So they kind of use that to their advantage, which I think was probably a smart move. So I didn't mind that part too much. It's got some conspiracy things in it that I thought were really good. I think the acting in this is really good. There's some humor in it that I found very funny. Overall, I thought the overall story was pretty good. Nothing too far off of some other stuff we've seen. Tahoe Joe comes to mind specifically, but I do think this executes that type of storyline a lot better. Cons is too damn long. It's an hour 40. That's extremely long for a found footage movie. And it's unfortunate because I think if they had kind of maybe narrowed down the first half of the film and spent more time at the ending, because you can tell when you get about 2/3 of the way through the movie, you can tell that the ending chunk is the part they were excited to get to. It was the main focal point of the story. And I think they probably could have spent more time on that and cut out some of that stuff in the beginning. But I love the mockumentary style. I think that its biggest weakness is the length, because once it got to a certain point, I was just kind of like, dang, I can't believe this isn't over yet. And then I saw how long it was, which is kind of surprising. But all in all, I would give this, a solid 5. I would recommend this to people who like found footage movies that are also about creatures, cryptids, monsters, Bigfoot in particular. I don't think that those are necessarily the easiest to do because found footage is usually lower budget. But no, this one was fun. It was, like I said, quite a bit of humor. It had some social commentary stuff in it. And just, a slightly unique take on an overly done storyline regarding Bigfoot. They do kind of add their own little flair to it, and I think it's worth checking out. Found is completely free. I think you can subscribe to it and pay for like no ads, but right now they just run like 1 or 2 at the beginning of the movie. I don't remember having them in the middle of it. But yeah, it's got tons of stuff. It's got like super common stuff on there too, like Savage Land, The Taking of Deborah Logan, like a lot of the really more popular ones. So if you haven't checked out Found, follow them on socials. If I remember, I'll put the link in the description. But yeah, Wild Man was good. I didn't have a ton of complaints. I think honestly, if they had condensed it and made it about an hour 10, I think it would have probably gotten higher marks. It's just too stretched out, I think. But other than that, cool concept, pretty talented cast. The suit was fine. And I like the concept. So, if you're a found footage junkie like me, check out Found. And feel free to dive into the tons of movies that they have, all related to found footage. Yeah, that's all I really have to say about it. I'm gonna try to do mini. I'm gonna try to write up something or do something with the other ones I watched because I just watched one called The Entity. It's a Spanish film. It's a found footage movie. It was really, really good. It reminded me of Terrified. If you haven't seen that, which was bananas. That's not found footage, but it's similar, kind of monstery or like ghouly looking thing. But anyway, really, really good. So yeah, so check out Found. I did find one that I didn't finish because it wasn't super good. That one's called Night Visitor, so feel free to avoid that one. But The Entity is really good, and Wild Man was really fun. So anyway, that's gonna wrap up this episode of Found Footage Friday. Hope you guys have a good rest of your weekend. Enjoy your week coming up, and we will see you in the next one.